Hello and welcome to this vibe coding session. My name is Dominic and today I want to show you how you can use Cursor AI and Frontstack to build e-commerce storefronts from scratch. Cursor is a new generation text editor that has some deeply integrated AI functionality, just making your overall workflow a little bit easier, quicker and more efficient. Frontstack does a similar thing. It is focused on e-commerce front-end development. Think of it as your data integration layer or API layer. And really what I want to show today is how you can combine these tools into a stack, into a workflow that allows you to build e-commerce storefronts basically without the need to write any code at all. Yeah, if that sounds interesting, I hope you come along for the ride and I hope you can learn something along the way. What you can see right here is a very basic setup of a project. It just says homepage right here. Also, the app behind it is nothing special. We can inspect the code right here or the structure. We have a simple Nuxt project with Tailwind CSS set up. We have a app.vue file. We have a very basic index file. And actually, we don't want to focus on the code today. So let's just put this aside for now. And we are going to work with the composer or chat feature of Cursor AI. You can toggle this using Command-Shift-I if you don't know how to pull it up. Also, I am going to use a voice interface in order to build my prompts so I don't have to type them. I think it's just it feels a bit more natural as somebody who doesn't code would do it. Yeah, so let's just see how well that works. So we're going to start with just setting up a very simple layout. Please create a basic e-commerce shop layout using the existing layout. Create a navigation, create some space for content, put in a logo, a search bar, maybe a wish list icon and a cart icon, and also create a footer. And please don't add any functionality or routing whatsoever for now, just build a plain static layout. So let's just hit enter and see what it cooks. So you can see that I have allowed auto run for commands right here. You might have to click this and click auto run, or if you don't want it to, just say ask every time, and then you have to confirm every time it wants to run a command. I'm just going to stop it right here because I noticed it was doing something it wasn't supposed to do. I think it has to do with us using the new version of Tailwind CSS, which is important, just using import Tailwind CSS, and it's going with the old way of importing the different layer using the Tailwind directive separately. So I'm just going to reject that part and I'm going to stop it right here. And actually we can go ahead and have a look at this UI and look what it's made. It's quite impressive, I think. From just as a very simple prompt, it was able to set up this shop UI. It didn't put any functionality in there whatsoever. It just, yeah, set up a very, very basic UI, which is pretty much exactly what I asked for. So let's get on with the next step. The next step I want to follow is to create a product search. So right here we have a search bar, and I think it would be kind of nice if when I started typing product name, it would actually give me a list of products, and then I can kind of select from that list whatever product I want to see. Kind of a typing preview or search preview feature would be nice. And so we're going to go ahead and start building that. So I will go back to Cursor and tell it about my idea. Cool, thank you for setting up the layout. Now I want you to create a search preview functionality. So as the user types in a search term, I want you to fetch the search results from Frontstack and kind of show the first 5 results so users can see the search results. Please don't implement a search result page yet. Just give me the search kind of preview as the user types, and let's take it from there. I'll just go ahead and close all the files that it's created here because, well, ultimately we shouldn't be bothering about them, should we? So it's actually doing something very interesting right now. It's noticing that the Frontstack client has not been created yet, And it's just going to go ahead and create it on its own because it knows which commands to execute based on the cursor rules. Here you can see that it's decided to use the product search listing, which is a listing that we've created in Frontstack before that comes with search and filtering functionality, and it's going to integrate that by the looks of it. See how it's very aware of me saying we don't want to implement the routing yet, but it's already adding the click handling for the search results. As the model keeps going, it allows you to take a look at the code if you, like me, are able to read code and understand what it does. I notice a few things. So, for example, I'm noticing that it's using the Node.js timeout function here. I definitely rather wanted to use the Vue.js or the Vue use debounce function, which is something I can tell it to do later on. Also, I don't even know if this is actually going to work on client environments, but let's just leave it and let it do its thing for now. But again, it is always useful to keep an eye on the code that the model is generating, especially if it gets stuck in some ways. And if you don't understand the code anymore, it will be quite tricky to get out of it. Okay, so it's done creating its code. We can actually have a look at the page. It still looks the same as it did before. Now let's start searching for something. And as you can see, we actually get a list of results, and it even lets me use my keyboard to navigate to the results, which is amazing. Here at the bottom we have the view all results link, which, as I expected and told it to, doesn't do anything for now. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Something else I noticed when you are using Cursor, the agent on the left, it has a self-healing ability. And what I mean by that is that when it starts writing code, it notices any linter errors. And when it tries to save a file and it has remaining linter errors, it tries to feed those errors back into itself and then repair the code as it goes. For some reason, Cursor has the tendency to stop working, or the linter at least has the tendency to stop working. And in that case, it doesn't notice if an import or something is not working properly. I can't tell if that is the case right now. I just like to, because I didn't see any linter errors lately, I just like to reload it. So what you can do is just say restart VNTS service, or just reload the window right here. And what this is going to do, this is just going to reset your entire Cursor window for once. It's going to reinitialize your TypeScript engine and everything, and then you can be on the safe side that it'll actually find linting errors. So say if I was to use an invalid block name right here, I would actually get this error, right? So I can go back to product search, and here we go. Now it is working. Cool. So let's go on with the next step, where we actually start creating a search result page. Please now create a search result page that the user gets redirected to when they either press the See All Results button at the bottom of the search preview, or just whenever they hit enter and no product is selected. On the search result page, please show just a listing of product cards, make it with 4 columns, and give it kind of a very clean, flat, minimalistic style. So it got my idea that it wants me to, that I wanted to create product cards, which are displayed in the listings. It's also breaking down the idea into different components so that the resulting component hierarchy remains with a good overview. And yeah, let's see what it does from now. You can see now it's trying to do something, and I'll let it do. I'm not sure if it works with the newest table version, but it is actually, yeah, now it's going down a path that I'm not entirely familiar with. Let's do it. Let's let it do for now. But as soon as it starts playing around with the dependencies, it gets a bit brittle because it does not always catch up on the versions that I'm using. Obviously, the models have been trained on older versions of the different dependencies, and especially from Tailwind 3 to Tailwind 4, there are some major changes in how it is embedded and installed into Nux projects, for example, or Vite projects. So you just want to keep an eye on that, especially if now that dependency isn't working properly anymore. We have to undo this maybe. Okay, cool. So here it's giving us a summary of the things it has done. It's created a new product card as well as a product grid component that does the basic layout of the listing. It added a search result page that fetches the products, displays them, shows loading state, and allows users to modify their search. It's also added the header component to reflect the functionality that I asked it to. So let's head back into our UI. And now we're going to start looking for something. Glasses. Here we go. I press enter now. And here we go. We do appear to have a search result page with an arguably minimalistic layout. For some reason, though, we don't have any pictures. And I have an idea for why that might be. And it's going to be pretty hard for the model to know that because it does not have access to the API responses, which would then probably give it away. And my assumption here is that it's using the wrong fields of the product to display the pictures. So I'm just going to go to the product card real quick and I'm going to give it a bit of help here. The reason is that in my current configuration, the thumbnail source of the product objects is empty. So we got to change that to source, and that should actually fix the problem, which it doesn't in that case. Let's just add a very quick debug output right here. And we have the cover. That is probably the reason already. Okay, but that it should have known. You can see that it is importing the product as any right here, even though it actually knows the shape of the product. So I'm going to pretend to be dumb, and I'm just going to say, it seems like the product images are not working properly. Could you please check how you access the image paths? Okay, I might be giving it a bit of help with the way I'm asking my question. Okay, it's actually comparing it to the header component, changing it back to the thumbnail source, which is what it had before. Again, I get a little nervous because it's working on the Tailwind config file. If this is too much or it happens too often, you can create your custom cursor rule and just say it to, please don't edit the Tailwind files, or please don't install or uninstall any extensions, try to work around them, and so on. Now I was actually getting rid of the plugin again. So it kind of sometimes runs in circles. So it's done a lot of things that I didn't ask it to do. However, let's see whether it's actually fixed the issue. Just going to reload this. This is not working. However, it has a fixed aspect ratio for the pictures, which is good. And yeah, for the search, it's still not working. Okay. So I'm going to give it a bit more of a suggestion of what the reason might be. Please use a bit stronger typing when passing product or the product properties down the component tree. It seems like the type information is getting lost at some point and you're just using any, which is what leads to the missing pictures. Please use the generated types by Frontstack to kind of inspect what the correct types are, and please use strong typing passing down the product information all the way down to the product card. So Frontstack creates types for all the data structures that come in and out of the API, and it compiles them into a type definition file, which the model is picking up on right now. And I hope it picks up the correct shape that the products come in, because the product itself normally have a cover field, and that cover field then contains the thumbnail and the thumbnail source. Okay, so it seems like it thinks it's done. It still hasn't done anything. Please use the correct types when passing down the properties, and then use that to fix the issue why the images aren't showing up in the product cart. You are using the wrong fields, and if you were using the correct types, you would see that you're using the wrong fields. So I might be a bit harsh here, but I hope it picks up on that. Okay, it is looking at the media type, which is good. I think it's kind of connected to how the product thumbnails are passed down the component tree, because it starts at the very top in the search, and there it's still quite clear which type we have because we have the search result. And here you can see it is using the product card component, which seems like it's going in the right direction, but let's see. And we can also see that it's picking up the product cover and not the product.thumbnail source, which I think is the right way to go. Okay, so it is using strong typing right here, which is good. And now let's check it out. And as you can see, we do have images. The missing images, I think, are related to the API not responding images. Okay, so I can search for other things, and it's gonna fetch them right away. But actually, I would rather have it. I would have it update the search result as I am typing, which it does when I remove it. But when I type, well, that works. Let's see what happens if I type in trousers. It works as soon as I press enter. Maybe let's try to let it fix that one last error. Thank you for that. That seems to be working perfectly. I just noticed that as I am typing a search result, a search term in the search result page, it is not correctly updating the search result. It only updates the search result as I press enter, but I would actually like to have it updated on every letter that I type or remove from the input. Okay, that works better. Cool. Here we go. I would say that is quite impressive. Also note how it updates the URL up here, which I think is quite cool. I would say we can call it a session for now. In the next one, we're going to go a bit deeper into styling and into adding some advanced functionality. But I think for now we can call it a day. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope I'll see you again next time.